The green flag will wave, and everybody needs to stay in column formation. Saw a penalty handed out this morning for not doing so. So everybody lined up nice and straight. Keep it there until you cross the line. Green flag waves. Saddle up. We are on it at COTA.
Yeah, I did see a little bit of a miscue in the GSX field with a couple of cars jumping out a little early. Great battle at the front between the two teammates, Valentino, Catalano, Oscar Tunjo, and it's Catalano who had pole position for this race, started second in race one. He grabs the early lead.
And if you are not familiar with the name Oscar Tunjo, well, it's because it's his first time in the United States racing here when we started this morning, but he has been impressive, and obviously Valentino Catalano was on it at Daytona. He was a revelation when they showed up in the final rounds at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta in 2024, and that team came back, and Catalano and his teammate Marcus Palmer were on it again at Daytona. Some good battles back in the GTDX category.
Yeah, we saw some of that class overlap as Matthew Duqueine is starting to drop down into the clutches of the GTDX field. You even see some GSX overlap with GTDX as well. Kiko Porto, perfect on the season. He's put a couple GTDX cars behind him here in the early stages. That's what multi-class racing brings. It's going to be like that for the next 43 minutes at the front row, though the two Duqueines from Gebhardt Intralogistic Motorsports controlling this race, led by the pole sitter, Catalano.
Catalano onto the front straightaway for the first time. These Michelins will get up to temperature pretty quickly here, I would think. Ryan, the front straightaway in the shade, but ambient temperatures in the mid-80s today, so I got to believe this dark circuit is going to be holding that track temperature, but the sun is going to be setting, and most importantly, we've had 5 hours of NASCAR action on this racetrack since the checkered flag this morning for these drivers. I'm thinking this is a very different racetrack that they're on.
You said it earlier today, the only thing that's the same are the turn numbers because the temperatures are way up, about 25 degrees ambient higher than they were when we raced earlier this morning. Plus you've got all that NASCAR rubber down on the racetrack. So it is a huge difference for these drivers and teams. They have to account for that with their setups and
excess ballast. After the Daytona weekend, Adam Adelson had 45 kilograms added to his car, and then you look down the order. Second place, Perez Compact had 25K added to his, and AJ Moss had 15 kilograms added to his Ferrari. So in GTDX, they deal with that balance of performance in a different way. In the GSX category, it's all predicated off of balance of performance that the GT4 cars run in the Michelin Pilot Challenge. And there was some BOP changed between Daytona and this event. The only car that's kind of running up front that didn't have any is the Toyota. So you wonder if the Toyota competitors in Michelin Pilot are going, hang on a second, guys, don't do this to us, because if you guys run strong in VP Racing Sports Car Challenge in the same car, we all may get punished.
Well, the BOP is a black art, as we know, and it's an unenviable task to have to sift through all the data and set it. And the thing you have to remember is you're trying to balance the platforms, but not every driver is created equal, and not every manufacturer has a driver with the wealth of experience that's required to give you, the full data on what the car is capable of. So it is a real challenge for sure. And all things considered, I think you look at the quality of the racing we saw at Daytona that's carried over here to Circuit of the Americas, and you have to say that the track record IMSA has of trying to balance these very different cars is incredibly strong.
Right now, though, those Toyotas up front, 2 Rafa Racing entries in GSX, the 8 of Kiko Porto and the 68 of Ian Porter. They really need to change names here. They're just way too similar for me to say those back to back, Ryan. And then you said it, Stephen Clemens there in third, Toyota 1, 2, 3.
That is a change in position, though, for second. Porter has gotten around Clemens here in recent laps. It's been a really good charge back through the field for Porter. Remember, it wasn't that long ago he was fighting with Chris Walsh, and that's now resolved itself. Really strong drive for Porter, and that also means that we hope Marcus recovers quickly and we can see him at a future round of the championship. But Tunjo's done a really good job stepping in, knows the car, has competed against the team before in other championships, gets to climb in one of their cars and instantly was on the pace this weekend.
Tell you what, this is good news for Jake Walker. What a performance he's had this weekend after recovering from, as we said, a Daytona that he would like to forget. But this is big. Could be 2 wins for him. The championship leader back in 6th position is going to give him an opportunity to close that down. Came into today's afternoon race in 9th position, but he's going to rocket up the points here. He's still going to be well back. He's got a long way to go, but if he keeps performing like this and others falter, that young man could have a shot at the championship by season 10.
Certainly could, but he's got to be close to perfect the rest of the way. He's used those mulligans up already in Daytona.
Yeah. Well, you know, a lot of times it's better to use them early, and speaking of using them early, Valentino Catalano has used everything the Duqueine chassis has given him, and he wins at Circuit of the Americas. Heartbreak this morning and elation this afternoon.
Great bounce back from the team, perfect performance. Catalano judged all the traffic perfectly and took that car to the finish. And for Jake Walker, as you see the car of Kiko Porto off to the side, deemed in a safe area, that's great news. Get to finish this under green flag conditions, but certainly a great drive from Walker. But how about this? Ian Porter, first year in the championship, just his 2nd year of racing, period. And for Smooge Racing, the Rafa Racing team, Ian Porter flashes those headlights. He'll take the win in GSX.
Impressive stuff. And for Jake Walker, talk about impressive. This young man, Turner Motorsports, it is taco time once again in Austin. Jake Walker with the victory at COTA. Man, good stuff, Ryan. Good stories. We're going to have to watch and see how these penalties get applied as they cross the line here and see where the finishing positions are, how the championship complexions will change after all the penalties are assigned. I think everybody pushing a little bit harder this afternoon, perhaps thinking that some of the transgressions that they had this morning, you race all the way to the checkered flag. That's exactly what all of these drivers did. They'll do it again the next time the VP Racing Sports Car Challenge heads out on track, and that will be from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course, June 6th through 8th, that weekend at Mid-Ohio. Thanks for joining us, everyone. We had great racing here. We expect to see it all year long. Plenty of the season left. For Ryan Marine, I'm Brian Till. We'll see you next time from the Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course.